Welcome back to the Weekly InSalt. This is episode 272, right, Wade?
Yeah, it is.
This is Laura, joined by Wade.
Hey,
How
how's
you
it
doing
going?
tonight?
I'm good. I'm tired.
Yeah, me too.
Cooking all that ramen is a lot.
Dude,
a lot
it was so
of
good.
work. Yeah, but
It was a lot of work.
how long did it take?
I don't know. I sat my ass on the chair and watched, so it wasn't really a
that's
lot of
true.
work for me.
Well,
other
you
than
did
eating.
clean up,
I
though,
did.
so
I did
thank you.
dishes. Yeah. We're also here with Kurt, our sound engineer. How you
VP
doing?
of Sound, Laura.
VP of Sound.
You're the one that
damn
gave
it.
me that title.
I know. I did. How you doing tonight?
I'm good.
Nice.
VP. I love it. I love it, man. I think it's a great title.
I like it too. That's why I gave it to you.
Yeah.
We have a very special guest today, James. How are you, James?
I'm doing good.
What's up, James?
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
course.
welcome. So glad to have you here. James has been a friend of mine for, now a year, right? Almost?
Yeah, there, maybe a little more.
Maybe a little
Yeah.
more. And also my tattoo artist.
Yeah.
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 You've been doing a lot of work.
I don't know. Is it still called a sleeve if it's on your leg?
Yeah, leg
Yeah.
sleeve, I guess.
Leg sleeve, yeah.
I said that to somebody and they said it's a pant. I'm like,
Well,
okay.
That doesn't sound the same.
It doesn't.
I had someone describing from the knee up as still part of your torso to me. They seemed like they knew what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So maybe from the knee down is a leg sleeve, if that's the
Okay.
case.
Yeah.
I would
okay.
consider that like a half leg sleeve.
Me too.
But
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's my
sock.
whole leg.
I guess if you wear I don't know.
And we're almost done.
Oh, yeah.
One session left, so.
Just like 4 or 5 hours, maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to be sad.
I'd like to get a tattoo.
On to the next.
On to the next.
Well, this is your guy if you'd like to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
honestly.
I would. Yeah.
Mhm.
Laura, you talked me
I
out of
did. I
getting
talked
that
him out of a tattoo in Vegas.
Bad idea or good idea? That you had.
Do you have it on your phone? Because that would be an awesome thing to see.
Well, my phone's up there on the.
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
I
stand,
forget.
So.
Yeah, we can look
Hi,
at it on
TikTok.
break. Yeah.
What were you going to get?
I don't know. Just like a network design. It was a stupid thing.
So Kurt's day job is doing network engineering, and you've done that forever, right? You've always been interested in
been in
networking and telecom.
Been
And,
in it about 14 years now. So.
yeah, so it's a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a little bit more in the original realm as far as tattoos are going, too.
Yeah. It would just be a small thing.
But a network diagram, in my opinion, being a software developer, a flow chart of a software, like an application, it's not very artistic. It's just
No.
lines and squares.
Well, you'd probably end up starting conversations with people you wouldn't have known or privy to that otherwise.
Yeah, but I'm passionate about what I do, so.
Yeah,
I
you
thought
are.
I'd design something, but I don't know. Still
And-
thinking about it.
They don't hurt at all, so.
No.
So you've been tattooing for how long?
Just past 16 years now.
Holy shit.
Yeah, wow. Does not seem like
It's
16
about
years.
how long I've been at my job, and it doesn't seem like that either. Time flies.
Yeah.
Do you still have to this? Maybe this is a dumb question, but
There's no dumb
are there still
questions.
things that like challenge you? Like when somebody comes in and you're like, okay, this is going to be a tough one, but I'm willing to take it on.
Yeah, definitely. Anything that's going to require like a lot of just straight, consistent lines is always going to be a challenge. Like you might have everything under control in your realm, but it's always going to be how the canvas does as well, how the client does.
That's true, man. You have a talent that I definitely will never have, which is, well, two of them. One is being an artist, and the second one is putting art on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a kind of a multifaceted thing, but I'm sure there's a million things you could do a lot better than me.
If you got a broken computer, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
So what got you into tattooing, like in the beginning?
Kind of long story, I guess. So I have been an artist most of my life. Like I don't know when I first started drawing, but since before I was walking. But it was just cars. Like I just drew cars until I was 14. My hope was to be like a race car driver, maybe do like stunt driving for movies or something.
That'd be badass.
Yeah, it would.
So just I moved up to southeast Idaho. Parents split up and everything, and so I was in this small town just up in Bear Lake, just drawing cars and skateboarding with a couple other kids skateboarding.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
I'd happened to draw just a couple cherry blossoms on my forearm when I was at school one day, and there was another kid there, Eric, and Eric has been tattooing himself since third grade.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
wow.
Yeah.
How does that work?
His mom worked nights, and he'd been in and out of detentional facilities enough that he found
Figured it
out how to
out.
make a tattoo gun.
Jeez.
We call them guns if they are not professional.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
if it's machines are what I use.
Right.
But in any case, he like the first tattoo he did on himself, a little sidetracking, but from
No,
his
you're good.
from his wrist up to his elbow, he tattooed 420 on himself in 3rd grade.
Oh, man.
It was
I bet that made his mom happy.
yeah, she was not stoked.
Yeah.
But
I think it's cool that you started out with like drawing cars and stuff because like you see it on TV all the time now with all these car shows, where they always start out with the drawing of a car that they want to create.
Right.
It's cool.
yeah, it was a definitely a good learning tool as far as like perspective and all that to kind of concentrate on that first.
It kind of evolved over time, I imagine, though, right? Once you've kind of figured out that tattoos seem cool.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was
Not cool. It seems like something you'd like to do.
right. I mean, yeah, it was a very like solid line in the sand when I figured out, I had those cherry blossoms that I'd drawn on my arm, and that kid Eric saw them when we were hanging out, and I thought he was speaking in hypotheticals, but he said, "Yeah, you should tattoo that on me." So I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, bet."
Oh, that's cool.
And,
That's cool.
But 30 minutes later, we're in his bedroom, and he's breaking out this ghetto-looking tattoo rig, And,
That was the first one?
yeah.
Was that your
well,
first
my
tattoo?
first one was actually on myself. 'Cause
Okay,
I was about
yeah.
to get going on him, and he said, "Well, all right, you know what you're doing, right?" And I'm 14. I was like, "Bro, I don't have
don't
any
have a
idea what I'm doing." And so he said, "If you tattoo one on yourself, then I'll let you tattoo one on me."
So that way you got like a little practice. Like you're
Yeah,
practicing.
I could show
yourself
you
for-
guys if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel free to stand up too if you have enough cord there.
Yeah, just a little. It doesn't look.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh.
It's faded.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool though, man.
So, yeah, I did that, and then just he liked it, so I tattooed him, and it looked like garbage, but it was the nicest piece of garbage that he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
that's cool.
That moment, it was, I went to the store that evening, the local grocery store, and bought one of every tattoo magazine they had, and
Oh, that's cool.
went home, and my walls were just cars everywhere, and I literally just went home, tore it all down, filled my
Really?
walls with tattoos, and then started failing school because all I was doing was drawing.
Well, that's kind of a good sign of that it's something you're passionate about when
Yeah.
you're like, and at such a young age too. That's a lucky thing because there's people that go most of their life without ever knowing what their passion really is or what they want to do, which is crazy. Crazy to
Yeah.
have that
Yeah.
thought that early on.
I was just very, very lucky to see it. It's like such a just guiding light. I
Yeah.
don't know. It seemed so clear to me.
Yeah, at a very young age too. I'm sure it's hard to get a job at a tattoo place. You mentioned a little bit before the show.
Yeah. So, being 14 at that time and living up in Idaho, there were no tattoo shops up there.
Mhm.
But I was now at the age where I could choose which parent I wanted to live with. So
Yeah.
my dad was still living down here, so moved back down to Salt Lake, and I just started going to tattoo shops, kind of poking my head in, looking at portolios, kind of
Checking the competition and seeing what you can
Getting
learn.
ideas?
Right. Yeah. Just seeing who I would want to learn from, Like
Yeah.
what tattoos do I want to do? And so looking for something like that, really colorful and all of this. I'm a big advocate for colorful tattoos. But I just I went into Big Deluxe Tattoo. That's where I did my apprenticeship.
Okay.
Way back when Porticall was around. Some people might remember Porticall.
Yeah,
Yep.
I do.
400 South and just below Main Street.
Yeah.
But, I was just some little kid. I tried to get an underage tattoo there first, but they checked my ID.
Damn it.
But I brought a little, clear view binder with me and just dropped off a bunch of drawings. And, most of them were me just drawing tattoos I saw in magazines. And,
Yeah.
I was just real with them. Like, hey, I'm not trying to tell you guys these are original. I'm just trying
This is what my talent is.
yeah.
My
so,
drawing
It's
talent.
your resume, basically.
Yeah, but and some of these guys, they were just not really. I don't know. I mean, it's a kid coming into a tattoo shop, So they were like, "Dude, you got to stop coming in here. Like, we're not gonna hire you. You're a kid."
But you
then-
persisted?
Yeah. Yeah, my mom was happy to sign for me to get a tattoo when I was 17 because
Oh,
it
that's
would
cool.
upset my dad.
Well,
So
that's
she
not
was
cool.
like, "Oh yeah, let's do it."
Yeah, yeah.
But it worked out for me. But
Yeah.
so I purposely got tattooed by one of the managers there so I could, kind of get my face known, and then started getting tattooed by an apprentice, because I didn't have much money and he was giving out really cheap pieces as he was
Yeah, to
learning.
learn,
So yeah, I kind of just got my face really, really known there, and then.
So the crazy thing is that you had a strategy to all of this. Because you said you got tattooed purposely by a manager, so you can tell that that's another sign of it being a passion, because you weren't just thinking about like, I want to go get a tattoo. You're thinking about, how do I get a tattoo? Who's the right person to get me one step closer to what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah, I was.
Very prescribed.
Yeah.
I definitely felt hungry.
Yeah.
back
So
then,
so when did they finally hire you? At what age?
So I just barely turned 18. I'm pretty positive. Yeah, I was 18. I was sitting in English class, and I guess a bunch of artists had decided to just up and start their own studio without giving much notice to the shop. And the apprentice at the time, his name is R2, also amazing tattoo artist. Yeah, he shot me a text and said, "Hey, we might need some help closing the shop today, and it might be a good chance for you to get your foot in the door." And I left my English book on the desk, literally, just like grabbed my backpack and walked out of school, and
Holy shit.
that was that.
Never
Damn.
went back.
Yeah, I did go get my GED
Did
to make my dad happy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But you found it, and that was the beginning of a long journey, it sounds like, that you've gone
Yeah.
on. And now, I mean, we're probably jumping a lot, but where are you now?
So now I am at Zen Tattoo in Murray, and I've been there for, I would say, about 10, coming on 11 years.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a long
That
time
is
in
a long
any
time.
job.
For
You know?
any job, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely flown by, like you said. When you're having fun, it just, you don't really even notice. But
Yeah, I'm sure that over time too, like, it evolves, and I'm sure your clients have an effect on kind of where, I don't know if it's necessarily where your art style goes, but definitely like, the experience that you get, because everybody's different, right? Somebody might want to do a leg
tribal.
sleeve
Or
tribal, or somewhere weird to tattoo. I think looking at your arms, you're covered in tattoos. I don't know, what's like what do you think is probably the worst place to get tattooed?
oh man, in my experience, the palm of the hand.
Oh shit.
I don't even have one. I just had mine done with water to see if I would try to put an artist through dealing with me. But
Oh really?
Is it
Yeah.
painful? Is it really?
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, you're not reading Braille with your bicep or anything like that.
Oh, that's true.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And I've had some people that said it didn't hurt, but then it also didn't stick. So we just, got some pumice and rubbed their palm until it looked like it was about to start bleeding before the tattoo.
Oh shit.
And then
Ow.
tattooed it in, and they
Wow.
definitely felt that one, and
Oh.
it stuck.
Yeah, and I think we've had tattoo artists on the past, and you've gotten tattoos. We might have brought this up, but I think a lot of people, for Laura specifically,
Yeah.
is the pain like a meditation thing for
It
you?
is. It's. I always tell James that it's like my art or ink therapy. So
Yeah.
and a lot of what helps is the music. So, and it's not just one kind of genre. Depending on the day, it's different genres of music. And between that and the tattooing itself, it clears your head. By the time you walk out of there, you're pretty much in a
Yeah.
very happy state.
Yeah.
For
definitely.
me, it works.
Definitely a post-tattoo high, for lack of a better word. It's the music thing is super, super important
Yeah.
too. I can't, if there's no music, I can't tattoo for more than like 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm losing my train of thought. I'm trying to get it back. You're gonna have to go. I don't know. I had
So-
something, but then I thought of another thing, and then they both collided, and it disappeared.
Well, I want to know what your favorite tattoo that you've ever done was.
Oh, my favorite tattoo that I've ever done. Yeah, that's a really tough
Is that
one.
a tough question?
I do have, I have favorite styles, but really the tattoos that I prefer the most are the ones that do the most for the person that's wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
Tattoos just have such a power, And when I originally got into tattooing, it was very much like an ego thing, you know.
Yeah.
I had put the coolest tattoo on Eric's body, so take that, you know.
yeah.
But then once I saw, you know, like giving people closure, making them feel more comfortable in their own skin, or like just watching them, you know, come into their own is just a really powerful and humbling experience to be a part of.
I was surprised because I learned this during my tattoo that a lot of people come in with ashes.
Yeah, that's
Oh, really?
And have I don't know how you do it, but you mix it with the ink
yeah,
and they actually use the ashes for their tattoos and you know, for their pet, their parent, you know, whoever.
Yeah, I have my mom's ashes tattooed to me. My wife did that for me. She's not a tattooer, but I needed the tattoo to hurt really bad because you know, like you were saying, there's kind of a
therapy.
meditation to it, and so
that you reminded me of what I was going to ask is how much of it did you realize once you got started that there is that art aspect, but then you're also kind of a therapist. You know, you're sitting with that person for a long amount of time.
Yeah, James knows a lot about me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good time to let things go. And I mean, even though there's not like some kind of doctor-patient, you know, confidentiality, like, you know, things stay in the station, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was something I knew I was getting into, though. I saw it during my apprenticeship, and you know, it almost seemed like that was half of it. You know, like you can do good tattoos all day long, but if you can't talk to that person, you know, how are you gonna share with them your deepest ideas?
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I'm sure you've helped a lot of people just sitting in there talking to them. You know, like I'm sure they come in with a certain idea of a tattoo, and it means what it means to them, and you're willing to understand that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a two-way road, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say there's times I've had clients that helped me when I didn't even know I needed help. Just the conversations that come up, you know, can be so healing or so wholesome, and just, you know.
Well, if you have to decline a tattoo, what's usually the reason for that? Is it like not your art style, or there's maybe somebody more qualified to do it, or is it just something that you're like, you might think you really want that, but I'm not going to be the one.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of all those. You know, one example I can think of was this 18-year-old kid. He came in and he just wanted to get a pot leaf on the side of his head, like
right on the temple.
Yeah, right on the temple, full color, and on the left side too. And so I was like, oh, cool. So the side that, you know, like if you get pulled over, it'll be right there. He was like, well, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
and I, you know, confidently said, I don't think you thought about it at all.
Yeah, no. Like you think it's super cool right now, but
go home,
you're gonna
think about
that.
it.
Yeah,
Find another artist.
And so, you know, I haven't spoke to him since. No one in the studio was gonna do that to him for his very first tattoo. That we recently had some real old cat, like not real old, but he'd been in jail for at least the last 30 years.
Oh shit.
And he, you know, wanted to get Adolf Hitler tattooed on his head, and I'm not trying to play that game either. So
there is a notorious homeless guy downtown that has a swastika tattooed right in the middle of his forehead.
There is?
Yeah. And
I can't imagine you have chill days very often.
No, I can't imagine either. Like that would get exhausting being that guy all the time. You know what I mean? And I don't know I don't know why he ever got it, but I just remember thinking the first time I saw him, I was like, man, you could have made maybe some better decisions than to put that right there. Like,
who knows?
Literally,
maybe he didn't have a choice. Maybe
you never know. Yeah,
there might be a story behind that.
There might be.
Man, okay. So
we got it. We got one.
Yeah, this guy. I don't know what happened to him, but I was still an apprentice when he walked in. It was, it was that Portical location.
Yeah,
we kind of had a little bit more of a little bit wilder clientele coming into that location as opposed to down on State Street. I don't know why, but
sure.
He came in and wanted to get a cover up on the side of his neck, and it was scribbly green, blown out lines. You know, not one part of it screamed professional. So I'm
blown out lines is like a sign of an amateur tattoo artist, maybe, or is it like
you've gone too deep, or you spent too much time in one spot. You know, the ink will just spread.
So they're not like detailed sense. Lines then.
Yeah, but it said baby kicker on the side of his neck.
What?
Big, the whole side of his neck in green cursive.
Baby kicker.
Kicker. Yeah, baby kicker. And he wanted to get that covered up, you know, like,
I can't imagine why.
But he wasn't able to afford, covering it up. I mean, it's the whole side of your neck. You're going to be looking at like 4 or 5 hours, really, if you're trying to do something detailed enough to be a cover up.
Yeah. What's like the average rate for like an hour?
Hour now, I charge $150.
Okay.
Which seems about pretty middle of the road for nowadays.
Yeah.
Our shop minimum is 100, but I mean, you can do a decent amount of work with like 45 minutes of tattoo time or whatever.
For sure. I'm sure with experience, the experience you have, like you can make a damn good amount of progress. And I have seen it. I've seen your tattoos.
Yeah, that's kind of the trade-off. Some people will hear a higher hourly, but they don't necessarily like equate that to, well, he's going to be able to get it done faster.
Yeah. Is a tattoo, does it fall into the category of you get what you pay for?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
So if somebody wants to really get a tattoo done right, the advice would be to pay a little bit more money for that? Not necessarily?
Not necessarily pay more money. I mean, definitely look at portfolios. It doesn't matter how much they're charging or not. I know some there's like Tattoo Gate, that thing that just happened online. This girl was charging like $4,000.
I never heard about what?
You just look up Tattoo Gate.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was charging like thousands for just like illustrations you could do.
Huh.
Yeah. And so, but people were really into like the way that she, ran her social media or something. It was just really desirable. But
that seems super steep though. And then like I guess maybe that's the ego part of it too, is that she's like, well, everybedy's coming to me now, so even if it's really simple, I'm going to charge $5,000 for
supports that behavior. But I would say more than like, I guess being willing to spend a lot of money is don't go in there and kick the tire with the artist.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing like extinguishing that like flame of inspiration by like them just like putting little bumpers everywhere.
Yeah.
Like probably your tattoo will probably be a little bit cheaper if you're just chill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's people that they're like, I want you to do whatever you want, but at every corner they're like, I see you're doing it like that, but what about if we did it like this? And it's like, fuck, dude, like just come in with it drawn then.
Exactly. At some point you're going to be like, you want to do art, you want your style and your influence kind of in that too, I imagine.
Right.
And if not, then like you said, draw it and bring it in if you're going to be so picky. I found it. It says one woman has apparently become the most hated tattoo artist on TikTok. According to several users, an artist allegedly, will just not say that name, scammed them for thousands of dollars. It all started when one woman uploaded a story about a tattoo artist on the platform, garnering millions of views and over 400,000 likes, according to a news site. She wanted a tattoo of a fox with flowers. She paid $180 for a consultation and another whopping $1,500 plus tax for one concept sketch.
Oh, wow.
And like if she revises the sketch, it's like another $1,500.
Yeah.
Does it show a picture of that?
It doesn't show a picture of the concept sketch, but I think there's the TikTok here of her talking about it.
It's
but when the user got her sketch back, she realized it was nothing like she had asked for, so the sketch was totally wrong. Oh, it does show it. Yeah. It's I mean, okay. It's a sketch.
It is a sketch.
I don't know if it's $1,500 sketch.
Yeah, you should
I don't
be willing
think
to
it
like
is
I mean, if they're going to put down on like that $180, like you can take 5 minutes and whip them up a sketch.
Yeah.
If like you're really worried about them like going somewhere with it, like watermark the shit out of it or something.
She told me she had 3 options for her design fee. She explains, adding that the first option was $1,500 plus tax, which is a concept sketch that you can make one minor change to and a final design. The second option is $3,500 plus tax, where you get 2 concept sketches and a few changes. The final option was a shocking $6,000. And keep in mind, none of this apparently goes to the tattoo itself.
Yeah, so you're
Wow.
10,000 deep if you want 3
Just for a
drawings
drawing.
real quick.
Yeah, holy shit. There's like some artists out there that are making really cool shit that don't charge nearly that much,
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well, I think it comes with humility.
Yeah.
There's people that they're just absolutely not going to charge an arm and a leg because they know they can still improve,
Yeah.
And Man, yeah, I feel like some people kind of are losing track of like what $100 really is. I mean, things are expensive nowadays, but like compared to what some people make hourly, like, you know, $250 for some tattoo work, like that better be the best tattoo you've ever seen. You know?
I think that's really nice to hear too, because it means that you appreciate your work in a way that you want the person getting it to appreciate it. Of course, you've got to make money. The shop's got to make money. You got to pay the bills and everything, but at least to some degree, you know, it's like, you know, you're not going to rip somebody out. That lady is obviously like trying to put her TikTok fame into her tattoo thing.
Right.
She's not at that level. Yeah. I guess there probably is tattoo artists at that level. Like if you're going to tattoo celebrities all the time, or you're just known as that guy, then like $6,000 for a tattoo or something.
Well,
sure.
But I think what you said is important. Like, look at their portfolios, look at their Instagram pages, look at their previous art, you know, that they've done, their drawings.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that one like nagging customer that will come back and be like, I don't like it?
You know, I had someone look in the mirror directly after and said, "Is that what it's going to look like?"
After they were done?
Yeah, I was done. I wiped it. Go check it out. But
is that what it's going to look like forever? Oh shit.
Yeah, I didn't know what else to tell him. Like, yeah, that's it. Let me know if, you know, when it's healed, if you want to do anything to it, if it needs a touch up, let me know.
Yeah.
I'll always touch up or you know, if I did a gray wash piece and it needs maybe to be a tone darker, like we're not going to charge for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like kind of goes back to, you were asking like style wise too. Like I was actually you know, taught to not try to do that.
Oh, okay.
Just you know, not pigeonhole yourself. So if I'm not busy, I don't have to worry about what walk-in is coming in. I can handle that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, of course, like if it's, you know, like some crazy portraiture, I know the people that could knock that out of the park, so I'm going to send it their way.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I want to be able to do whatever tattoos people want, you know, being that my favorite part is that they're helpful, right? So I can't just expect one style to do it all for all of my clients.
That's really cool.
But then, you know, I grew up pretty poor, so, you know, like I don't want to just start
like how
charging.
much you got in your wallet? I'll do it for that, you know, and you take all their money.
Right, exactly. Like I don't want to just automatically an entire class of people cannot afford to get tattooed by me. Like that's not me. I'm low class and I'm happy to admit it, you know. Like,
and they're humble, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you knew where you came from and respect that people are going to be there too, you know. And that poor guy, unfortunately, that had baby kicker on his neck.
Yeah.
Start saving your money if you want to get rid of it that bad, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do people get in touch with you specifically, just before we go to break here?
Yeah.
Just how can they, if they want to get a tattoo from you, how do they find you?
You can check out my work on Instagram. It's James Ross Tattoo. And then you can go ahead and just shoot me a direct message there, or jamesrosstattoo@gmail.com.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to also just stop by Zen Tattoo in Murray, 294 West, 4500 South. We're open 7 days a week. So.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
That's super cool. I really like your attitude. It's crazy doing the show too, because we've talked to, and I have a friend that you remind me a lot of. I grew up with him, and he was always drawing, you know, all the time, and he'd show me these things. And I'm like, as he got older, went to the military, came back, and he really wanted to be a tattoo artist, but he just didn't have money. So one year on his birthday, I just gave him, you know, a couple $100 and said, just spend this on a machine. Don't spend this on anything else. And now he's working at a tattoo shop, you know, and he loves it.
You changed his life.
I was hoping to do, because I know that he was working really hard, but he was struggling, you know, and he was living like, I think he was living down in Beaver for a while, where, I mean, there's probably not a ton of opportunity down there.
Right.
Small town.
I was like, here, man, just go get it.
Yeah, you put him on.
Yeah, and so I've been following him, and I told him if I ever, when I get my first tattoo.
When you decide to.
I will drive down and see him.
Right.
You know?
Man,
he's like,
so
hell
cool.
yeah.
When
It's
you get
cool
over
to hear
your
your story,
fear of
man.
pain.
Yeah, well, I just have a really low pain tolerance. I think I could probably fight my way through it, but also I have never had a tattoo, so I don't know how it feels.
Right.
I've only heard stories of how it feels. And obviously if I get something in my industry, it's changed a lot now, but like when I first started, it was like you need to be in a kind of suit and tie environment, and like you have to appear a certain way, right?
Right.
That's changed, but I still wouldn't get something like a weed leaf on my temple.
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
Shit, it's just not it.
Okay, so we should take a break. I think.
Let's take a break.
We'll be right back. And we are back.
You didn't give me 3 seconds, but
I
that's
didn't?
okay. If that was 3 seconds, I counted
we
down
back
from
now?
3, but I have to hit record at 2.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
Welcome
saying.
back.
Thanks. Just kidding.
I'm miserable.
You do sound like your allergies are going crazy.
I don't know what the rain did, but like
it makes your radio voice better though.
Does it?
Yeah. Now you sound like you. Now it sounds like you're going to do some sportscasting. You know.
So James,
Yeah.
I've known you for a while, and I've gotten to hear a lot of stories, but there's one in particular that I'd like you to tell me a little bit more about. And I know that your wife and you did a dog sledding trip this past winter, right?
Yeah, we
What
did.
possessed you to go to somewhere colder than here?
Well, kind of maybe a bucket list kind of thing.
Oh, hell
but
yeah.
we're also very fortunate. My wife is friends with the girl up there, Courtney, that we went and stayed with. Just her and her husband Brian operate Moondog Kennel.
Oh, cool.
Up in oh my gosh, where is it? Healy, Alaska. They
Oh, okay.
throw a dart like right in the middle of Alaska.
Okay, yeah. Is it beautiful in Alaska?
It's ridiculously beautiful.
That's on Alaska. I think is on my bucket list. I got to go up there.
Yeah.
I think you can find things that are equally as beautiful here,
Sure.
but I think what sets it apart the most is the silence.
Oh yeah,
Like the quiet out there is just otherworldly. And,
it's so vast. There's so much untouched.
right.
Alaska.
Like as you gradually come home, the airports seem really loud. But
Yeah.
so we went up there and we spent 4 days. First day was like training day, but then we went out and did an overnight, kind of just camped in a tent in 0 degrees. It was literally 0. I had a thermometer like waiting so I could tell people I camped in like negative temperatures, but it just got to 0.
Yeah. Still cold, or were you pretty warm? Did you have the right gear?
So warm. Yeah, we had all the right gear. Yeah, they set you up with, everything you're gonna need. And like I said, we had one day where I went out with Brian and my wife went out with Courtney, and they drove first and kind of showed us how to operate the drag brake and the claw brake, which the claw brake would be like your e-brake.
Yeah.
The drag brake is just like for if you want to slow the team down a little, you put your weight on that.
Isn't it so crazy that you can train a team of dogs to work
that,
together,
yeah.
and I've only seen it in video, right?
Yeah, me too.
But all the dogs seem super stoked to be doing it. They're like, hell yeah.
Oh yeah,
let's run.
They are so happy. It's really beautiful to watch them work too. I mean,
because you got a lead dog, right? And then all the rest of the dogs pull their own little bit of weight.
yeah, and I mean the lead dogs are so smart. Some of these trails that they run, they're so used to them when they go to put in the trail for the first time, just trampling through 2 or 3 feet of snow. They don't even have to give these dogs directions sometimes.
They just know.
Wow.
Yeah, they just, because of the direction they kind of started them in, they're like, oh, we're doing the loop around the lake now.
Huh.
Or, so yeah, we did couple hours. I think it was 16 miles we did for our training. Just a little straight line and back, and
just to get you used to everything.
Yeah. And that was a crazy enough experience. But then, when you're out there just in the middle of nowhere with just a pack of dogs in a tent, it's a pretty badass feeling.
Yeah.
Honestly. But the dogs are definitely the best part about it, just watching them interact, and they're such amazing creatures. You see them like huddled up in the snow, and you would kind of assume like, man, I bet that dog wouldn't be too bummed out about coming inside, but they don't really want to hang out in the warmth.
Yeah.
You can go put your finger in their armpit when they have ice crystals all over their face, and it'll be really warm.
Yeah.
They're built for it.
So did you guys go out by yourself after training? Just you and your wife? Or
So I'm trying to recall exactly how we did this. So we actually drove our own sled, me and my wife as a team when we went out camping. So they took the sled that had basically like their cargo sled. So they had a sled attached to the dogs, and then they were attached to that sled as well. So they were driving like the semi truck of the dog teams, So we were following them since they'd be a little bit slower, but we went out, 8 miles, I think, and found a place to camp. And they just have a little canvas tent and a stove. And there are cabins that they also have available that they do take people to. Unfortunately, the Savage River wasn't quite frozen over, so we weren't. You got to cross that to get to the cabin, and we were not trying to get crazy. So.
Yeah. So was it just one night, or did you one night and back?
Yeah, one night and back. I mean, we definitely were just hanging out with the dogs the whole time. You know, they have like their little, like, really humble little, like, 1 bedroom with a loft kind of cabin, and then 60 feet away are all their dogs. I think they have 26 now.
Jeez.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, their oldest one, Ahab, just turned 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
They are amazing people, and it's a really cool kennel in the way that they're not going to retire their dogs in the sense of getting rid of them.
Yeah.
You know, some places when you're just a mouth to feed, you got to go.
Yeah.
But their whole thing is wanting to make sure the dogs have a great life till the last day.
Even after they retire.
Really cool.
Yeah, when they retire, they do spend some time inside and whatever. But
What a life.
even after they retire,
That'd
you
be
can
great.
see them just aching to want to go on the run still. Like they would fully be down to, but they just don't want to injure their dogs. But.
Sure. Yeah. So what was it like going in 8 miles and just realizing you're in Alaska in 0-degree weather, middle of nowhere? When I go camping, it gets dark because if you've been camping, as darkness falls, it kind of creeps in on you, and then before you know it, you can only see maybe like 10 feet. So out there
And all
being
the
that
stars.
isolated. The stars in Alaska, I'm sure.
Imagine it was
Crazy.
beautiful.
Yeah, we did actually get to see a little bit of the aurora. Speaking of like the night sky, but
That's something I have to see one time.
yeah, just a little bit. We had more down here just recently, but oh my gosh, I can't believe I just forgot what you asked me.
Oh no, just being isolated.
Being
How does it feel?
It kind of gives you a moment to reflect on things like what is really important. I think we all need to take some time to figure that out. I've been on vacations where it seemed like more work than just being at home going to work, and so this was very, very different than that. It
Probably
was,
didn't have cell signal.
No, and I was very stoked. I don't think that we really had our phones out for anything but photos,
Yeah.
But really just surreal, There's a couple times where we were just getting drug across some ice by these dogs, and
You kind of have that like existential moment, or maybe not existential, but moment of clarity and self-awareness where you're like, I'm literally just on like a lake right now with a pack of dogs and a sled.
right, yeah, just near
Holy shit.
near the Arctic. Yeah, I mean
I could die.
That's exactly the like. I didn't want to say it to them, like, hey, I'm kind of scared to go camping.
Yeah,
but it was
there. I mean, bears and shit. But you've got
Right.
all the dogs with you, which are gonna help. And
yeah, for sure. And, like I was waiting to see a bear too, and they're like, bears hibernate in the winter, and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
So-
I forgot.
so,
I've
like-
been scared of bears the whole time. They'd be like, they're sleeping right now. I'd be like, God damn it.
Yeah,
You're right.
that was me. But like a moose coming trampling through your camp, or
Moose are no joke.
something like that, or like the ice just breaks.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of I don't know. It just
Kind of clears your head because disconnecting's a good thing, I think, for everybody. We've talked about that too.
Oh,
is,
yeah,
is
yeah.
like just go somewhere
Off
for like a
book.
weekend where your cell phone doesn't work. Like you don't have the opportunity to use it. You just have to be like, you want to pull it out and be like, what's going on social media? And then you're like, oh yeah, I don't have any cell signal.
That's my
Right.
favorite part about going camping is
Yeah.
not having phone
100%.
service. Yeah.
And that's why I think I'd love to go to Alaska, because being there, you can truly like isolate, and it's just you and nature.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think that's part of the experience too, is getting those thoughts of like, okay, we're 8 miles away, so if I use my pocket knife and cut towards me and get a deep cut, nobody's helping me except me. So like, you need to kind of be aware of your safety and just make sure that you make it through. And then when you come back, you kind of have that sense of accomplishment of, hell yeah, I did that.
Yeah, absolutely. It felt, definitely not as badass as Brian and Courtney, but still
Sure.
felt pretty.
Would you do it
pretty
again?
Badass. Oh, I would go up there tomorrow if I could.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could live up there. The nights are kind of a trip.
Yeah.
Like I'm used to camping where you go to sleep, and then when the sun's thinking about coming up, it's like getting too warm.
Yeah,
or,
wakes you up. Yeah.
Yeah, too bright. But we went to sleep, and it seemed like maybe 6-7 hours, and it had been 11 hours.
Oh,
if
shit.
We were in the tent. Yeah, but I mean, it was just still so dark out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
during
kind
the
of
winter,
lose
it's
track.
dark all the time. Or dark
Most of the time.
And then the
Yeah.
summer, it's like sometimes the sun doesn't. It sets, but it's still kind of light.
Right, it's
just
just kind of like does a little path along
That'd
the
be so
horizon.
weird. Can you
It would
imagine
be
that
weird.
being like, I don't know, at a restaurant or something, and you're like, well, the sun's only like where it would normally be at like 4 p.m. right now, but it's like 9.
It'd be hard to get used to.
Yeah, it would be, especially just the opposite ends of the spectrum, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The thing they were telling me about, you know, making the choice to live somewhere like that, as I say, you don't come here and just try to live. Like you need to have something that brought you here, like something you're passionate about, and it just so happens to take place here.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Dog-sledding.
you won't have enough inspiration to stay. You know.
Yeah.
They call winter the great equalizer. You know, we'll see. You know, who really wants to be here, kind of thing.
Somebody shows up, they're like, "Man, I love being here. It's all summery and nice, and you're walking. You don't have to have a coat." And then winter comes around, they make it halfway through. They're like, "I'm getting the
done.
fuck out of here."
Right.
Sort of like Seattle, it rains all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like.
Do you
and
normally go camping like around here too?
a little bit? I mean, I don't want to say that I'm like a crazy camper, you know, but just a little bit of desert camping, a little bit of in the mountains, just a campground. I'm not going to backpack or anything like that.
Yeah.
Been seeing too many cougar videos.
Oh yeah, those are crazy.
Yeah. They have them.
I don't think I've ever
everywhere.
seen a cougar in real life before. I think I saw a bobcat once. That was
Yeah.
cool. But I don't think I'd ever want to.
That's pretty cool. Seeing a bobcat.
It
Those
was-
are rare.
Yeah, it was out by Kennecott, believe it or not, which I thought was even more weird.
That is
'Cause
weird.
It's not like really in the mountains, but
Mm-mm.
I'm sure places like that displace a lot of animals to begin with anyway.
Right. He doesn't have a lot of competition up there, I guess.
What was your favorite thing in Alaska up there? I guess did you go up there specifically to dog sled, or was it like, did you make a bigger trip out of it?
Yeah. I mean, dog sledding mainly. Courtney has just been my wife's friend since about middle school, so that was more. We were more just going to visit some friends, and
Oh, hell yeah.
they just so happened to treat us to this amazing retreat. And I think my favorite part about it was actually their cooking.
Oh, no
Oh.
shit.
They,
Love
they
them.
have a lot of time, and they have to, they're 2 hours away from a grocery store, so they aren't just like getting takeout, nothing like that.
Yeah,
So
you have to cook.
it was Moroccan cuisine when I was up there. They had like the clay tagine and everything.
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
They were hand making their own phyllo dough,
Holy
like
shit.
from
That sounds
scratch.
amazing.
Like cinnamon sweet phyllo dough wrapped chicken tandoori or whatever.
Yum.
I'm hungry.
And I mean, even like, we went out and did that camping trip, and all of a sudden she just breaks out like a homemade loaf of banana nut bread,
Yeah.
that morning. And the night prior, she had made like a tomato basil bisque,
Yeah.
and so it was like 5-star dining in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of
Wow.
nowhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. So you obviously like food too.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite? I love asking good
I
guests
know.
this. What would you say is your favorite restaurant in the valley? Which is hard. I don't think I can pick one.
I've been really getting down on the ramen over at Hamachi.
Hamachi. I don't think
I
I've
don't
been
think
there.
I've been there either.
Yeah, it's
I
like
gotta try it
Is
out.
that like third South 4C, something like that?
Okay.
Yeah. Usually my lady gets sushi there, so I guess it might be a really good sushi joint. I just am not a big fan. You can just catch me having tonkatsu ramen all the
Hell
time.
yeah.
Yum. I love ramen.
Yeah.
Hamachi. Oh, okay. I think I've seen this before. I want to see
We
some.
made ramen last night. Well, I didn't make it, but
Yeah, it was a lot of work. Still
It's
doing
good.
the dishes. I've had to vacuum again today. It's a small price to pay for good food. I think that there's nothing better than having a good meal, except maybe what you just spoke about, James, which is having an awesome meal somewhere you completely unexpected.
absolutely.
It tastes better out there, I think. I don't
100%.
know. Like, we had a whole conversation about it, but it just makes you appreciate,
Yeah.
every little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there was a trip over Memorial Day years ago where we went to Sand Mountain, ride like side-by-sides and four-wheelers and stuff, and they made an elk stew. And we'd been worn out all day from riding. And when I got back to camp, we ate that, and it was so good. And they're like, well, we're just going to throw the rest away. And I was like, no.
What?
I'm like, I'm going to take it home. And I took it home. Wasn't good.
Oh.
No?
Yeah, it was. I think it was like camping food.
Being
It's
out in
just
the
good
air,
camping,
yeah.
you know. And because like at that
Camping
point,
breakfast is my favorite.
yeah, I could,
It's
But I
even better
love-
when you
I-
just wake up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not the one that has to do it.
yeah. When you wake up to the smell of bacon or something.
Yeah, right?
This place looks really good, Hamachi. I'm gonna have to add it to the list of
But you
places
like to
go.
cook at home a lot, too.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
rest of
I
us,
try
yeah.
my hand here and there.
Yeah.
I'll cook. I won't bake.
I don't bake either.
I thought you've been trying your hand at baking.
Well, okay. I've tried to bake. I'm not
Yeah.
going to call it baking yet.
Okay.
But I am trying to use my oven to heat up some stuff. Hopefully, I stop ruining it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm the same way.
But, yeah.
So I don't know why I tried to take on the ramen noodle thing because it's almost the same as baking, where you have to be so precise with everything.
Yeah, it's scientific.
Yeah,
Right.
it was a pain in the ass yesterday.
And you said you did egg noodles before that.
Yeah,
as
I
well,
did it
right?
before that, and I just every week I would just write my recipe down and then kind of change one variable, and then see how
Right.
it turned out and have people over, and then that kind of got to the point where it's the weirdest thing because I think people get motivated by having somebody else be motivated, and so when I was doing that, I think one night, Laura, I think you were here,
Mm-hmm.
there was like 15 people in my
Yeah.
house, and I realized that like I'm making this giant batch of homemade noodles because
there's-
everybody's heard like it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
There's restaurants in the neighborhood probably not as busy as your kitchen was.
And once I got to that point, I was like, I love all of you guys as my friends, and I want
Only
you all to
a
try
third
it.
of you can come at
yeah,
a
but
time.
like maybe like 6 people total.
But I
It's
have
an
a permanent
exclusive
seat,
club.
so
Yeah, I know. And now we're talking about. Oh shoot, I don't even know if I want to say this.
yeah,
Talking about
Oh.
we're looking into maybe doing a pop up somewhere.
yeah.
But
That would be
I'll deliver
Just
that
listen-
news
yeah.
when if it happens ever. I don't know.
I kind of felt delivered, but
I'll deliver the exact details.
like,
I love to bake. I will pat myself on the
I've
back. I'm a great
heard
baker.
legend of your baking. I'm gonna need
Oh,
to
James,
double check that.
James South. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you've only got one more appointment, I can't think of a better thing to bake for.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Did you ever feel
We
that
can-
way when you like at last appointment with a client? You're kind of like shit.
There's
I'll be back.
There's a bittersweetness to it.
Yeah.
I'm not ruining a surprise. I'm actually giving her a painting as well.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Some
Um,
artwork. I'm so excited.
That'll be perfect for your new
Yeah,
house.
Yep.
Yeah, I was ready to throw a painting away, just being critical of myself, and she happened to check it out and really liked it. So I went home and just started working on it more.
Mhm.
And
Oh, that's cool.
like you're saying, it's kind of like when someone else is inspired. She just thought it was really rad. And
I
so it's
did.
like,
I did
alright.
think it was rad. You were like going through some prints. I'm like, wait, I love that one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just gonna throw that one away.
Yeah.
No.
That's, my mom does, since she retired, she's been getting into watercolor. And she actually ended up building a whole studio add-on to their house down in St. George. And every birthday and every Christmas, I always get a painting, and they're all up on my fridge. And I told my mom, I'm like, I'm going to hang them all on the wall. But she does the same thing, She'll paint something for hours and be like, nah, I don't really like it. And I look at it, I'm like, Mom, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's
Sounds
so
like a
beautiful.
true artist.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sure, you're your own worst critic, right?
Yeah.
I even do that with food. Like even last night, I'm like, Laura, how do you rate the ramen? You're like, it's a 10. And I'm
10.
like, well, let's not go crazy because if it's a 10, it'll be the
Right.
best
It's an
thing
8.5.
ever. I'm like, yeah, I think we're at like 7.5. We can do better.
Yeah, I definitely need a little constructive criticism, like when people are just trying to fluff you. I just got to watch out sharing my food with Jimmy because he'll just trash talk it while he's eating it. He'll like
Yeah.
He'll
tell
eat
me,
it all though.
Yeah, while he tells me it needs salt and cooked longer and everything else.
Yeah, of course. So you got any other trips coming up that you're looking forward to, or anything else in the like you? I mean, you've had plenty of appointments.
Oh yeah, you've got another convention to go to, right?
Not a convention,
It's not?
but well, I might. That's a maybe as well. Can't even remember the name of the town. There's a convention in September in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I'll be going up to Seattle August 18th through the 22nd, just doing a guest spot at Electric Vision Tattoo up there.
Oh, that's cool.
Just had a friend from down here move up there, and so kind of more just go see the homie. And I have a couple clients up there, so not really hard to like fill the books or anything. I just let them know I'm coming and have the trip booked out before I buy the plane tickets.
So that's kind of cool being a tattoo artist. Sorry to
No,
cut you
it's
off,
okay.
Laura, but that you actually can go to other places and you can kind of be like, hey, I'm going to be in town. I'm going to do tattoos here. It's not like I can be like, I'm a software developer. I'm going to go work at your company today.
Right.
Yeah, it is nice. I prefer not to go on vacation without my tattoo equipment, because Like I can find a spot, just through the people that I know. I can friend of a friend let me work in their shop, or
That's cool.
go do like a convention, and the conventions, you can only do so many cool pieces in 2 days, maybe
Right.
3 days.
Yeah.
But I'll just book like a week at a shop after that.
That's cool.
So that I can, get quite a few people and try to drum up like
How do the conventions work? Because I know they did one in Midvale. I didn't really go down there, but so it's like you show up as an artist. Do you have to have your own booth,
That
or
was
is it
a
more like
contest, right?
Yeah, I think
I
that
don't
was a kind of a like street fair tattoo contest, kind
Okay.
of big old get together. Conventions are, I don't know. There's a couple different styles that are kind of popping up. It used to be a little bit more affordable for an artist to actually work at a convention. It seems like it's getting pretty steep now, and that kind of makes it not so worth it. When you got to give like half of what you're gonna make to the people just to
run the convention?
have a booth?
Yeah.
yeah, and especially if you're working in town already, like why do I want to move my shit across town to pay you way more,
Yeah.
just to have a bunch of people taking pictures and shit,
Yeah, that's true.
But if I can go to other cities and meet people, like
That's
then it's very worth it to me. But I mean, they're cool tattoo conventions. If you've not been, you
I
should
haven't been to
definitely
one.
go.
I should check one out.
Yeah, I went to the Midvale competition. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You couldn't go in and actually see the artists unless you paid to go inside the building to see them. But
There
were
all
booths set up
indoors?
outside. Yeah,
And
they were all behind closed doors.
That's kind of how I would imagine they'd be able to just like make their bread and butter, like admission and food or whatever else. But
I heard you really like the slam poetry.
Yeah, that was
Supposed
so
to be a
funny.
family event, and what were they talking about?
Oh, there's one chick up there talking about she hated her parents, and it was just horrible. Like there's like little kids.
There's a little
out
kid
there.
running around
Drew
with
and I
a
were like,
taco.
"What the hell?"
It does kind of seem out of place, but I guess
It was
that is
out
its
of
own-
place,
its
but,
own
you know.
art form too.
Yeah,
And
it is.
I wouldn't. I mean, that's one thing that I couldn't even touch with a 20-foot stick is
Poetry, me
I
either.
don't even know where to begin.
No,
I just asked ChatGPT.
I barely
honestly.
know what a haiku is, man.
Yeah,
It's five sentences. I don't know. Am I right? Haiku.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Haiku.
can't even pretend to know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But last time you were up there, you stayed at a hostel, right?
Yeah, actually, the Green Tortoise.
That seems like ambitious to me.
It does to me too, because I think of the movie.
Yeah,
that's a lot more my style. I don't know. I feel uncomfortable in really fancy restaurants. If that
Yeah.
kind of like paints
Okay,
a kind of a picture.
yeah.
My wife kind of put that trip together for me, and it was like she had my whole itinerary, and that alone, like having an itinerary, kind of stressed me out.
Yeah.
Felt like I had places I needed to be. But so yeah, stayed at this hostel, and that was a great experience. They had like a smoking room and everything, so you didn't have to like continually like go outside
Yeah.
from inside.
You're kind of sleeping in the same room as people, or did you have your own room?
Yeah. It's like I think there's a couple different setups, but I had one bed in a room of 4, and they mainly keep it dark in there during the evening hours, and you have your own curtains, and
You don't have
Everyone
anybody
just-
snoring like the whole night or something?
yeah, the commons area is way away from that. You're not
yeah.
really hearing any
Oh, that's cool.
any noises or anything, but yeah, I mean you can bring your own food and use their gigantic gas stove and all this
Oh,
stuff.
that's cool.
Like cook yourself like the craziest breakfast you want if you brought all the stuff, and
Yeah.
they have a fridge for you to put your stuff in and all this too. But that hostel was honestly kind of one of the cooler parts of that trip, just getting to talk to
Random
people from all over. Yeah, and I met a musician there whose music just like pulls my memory right back to Seattle too. So
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
yeah, Kyle John Kanowski,
Okay.
I think is his name. Yeah, he's does some pretty weird, funky stuff.
It's kind of cool, though, that you get to, like, just meet people
Yeah, that'd be-
organically like that. But I don't know. I get nervous, too, that I'd be like, it'd be my luck that I'd be, like, going to a hostel for, like, a cool experience, and it'd just be, like, weird.
Right.
Why did I pick the one weird hostel?
I think
The one from the movie.
There was probably a couple times where I maybe made it weird for them. Not weird for me though, because I have no shame,
Yeah,
But,
sure. Yeah.
Socially, throw a couple darts and see which ones stick, I guess.
Yeah. That's always kind of fun to do, though, and I'm a social person, so I enjoy that, like the curveball.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot from the way people handle themselves when you kind of throw something at them that kind of makes them a little uncomfortable.
Right.
And you're like, okay, you're willing to roll with the punches. I can see. Or if they're not, you're like,
Yeah.
all right.
All right, back off.
They maybe take themselves a little too seriously or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of me growing up is like I've always had a friend group that was super comfortable with just giving each other shit all the time. You know what I
Right.
mean? Whenever you did something great, people would tell you did something great, but then shit on you for it. And if you did something bad, you got shit on for that.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think we're kind of in that environment still right now, but I think it's healthy. You got to have a little bit of thick skin.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
I don't
Can't take shit serious.
I can't think of a friend that doesn't talk shit to me.
Yeah. So, and I think that helps in a situation like a hostel because when you're meeting somebody for the first time, you can get a gauge on people real quick. You're kind of always on your toes, I guess, socially. But
Yeah, and definitely. I think it's a good way to kind of get a better way, or I don't know how I'm trying to say this, like a different experience in the city, right? Rather than going and like booking some tours, like talking to a couple of people that are staying there, like seeing what like they're getting into that day, and like
you might do something that you normally wouldn't do because of a suggestion that somebody else is staying there. They're like, I did this and it was super cool. You're like, I'll check it out.
Right. Yeah, and like I'm hoping that a couple of them will actually take me up on, coming down here and like getting work done by me. We just didn't have time up there, but just like making some new friends who are also interested in my work.
Do you ever notice when you go to a place like that the type of tattoos changes at all, like out of the state or kind of around the United States? I don't know where you've been, but
there's only been one place that stood out to me, and it's probably changed. But I went to a concert in Denver, and I just thought it was just the worst tattoos that I've ever seen everywhere. It wasn't just like a little venue. It was, out at the Fiddler's Green. It's like, are you sauna?
Yeah.
Kind of. And it was just littered.
Like, what?
Yeah, like how many people really need face tribal?
That's funny. Well, you lived there for a while, didn't you,
I did,
Laura?
yeah,
So I guess you're not one of those people.
No, Denver's changed a lot though since I've been there.
Yeah. Last time we were there, I was there with Kurt last time, and it was cool. I mean, anytime I travel, I always at least try to find a dive bar somewhere because then you kind of judge the true people. And if I like pull up and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go in here. I know I'm at the right spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is weird, And then you walk in and everybody looks at you and you're like, you guys want a shot or something? Oh, sure. What's your name? And I think I wonder, do you think, like, I guess a tattoo parlor can kind of be that way too because I've never gone a tattoo. So to me, I'm like, man, I wonder if it'd be weird if I walked in there and just like talked to a tattoo artist because I'm totally really indecisive. Not weird at all.
No, we've had people come up and talk to you about concepts while he was tattooing.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Honestly, like that's how it was when I first started tattooing. People would call to like see if you're open, or maybe ask a shop minimum.
Because I've never been in there. I mean, knowing you and people that are your friends and Laura, it's like it's less intimidating now. But I remember thinking like maybe it'd be cool to get a tattoo one day, but. Like, they're just all going to laugh at me if I go in there and be like, can I just talk to somebody about an idea I have?
Absolutely. That's what they want you to do. Talk to them first.
I'd prefer 3 dimensions over, like, having a text discourse, all day, every day.
Yeah, or just a phone call.
Right. I mean, I could maybe get you a price quote if we're face-to-face really chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, if I know every detail about your tattoo, but I still don't know how big your arm is.
Like, it doesn't matter. That's true. Yeah. Where you're going to place it, you need to know... Yeah, you just got to figure that out. It'll affect the artwork.
Yeah, so if all you worried about coming in tattoo shops and talking to us, come on in. We're friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gave your information out. If you want to give it out again, by all means.
Yeah, James Ross Tattoo, either on Instagram or Gmail, and just over at Zen Tattoo in Murray, just on 294 West and 4500 South.
Nice.
Well, thank you. So much.
Thank you so much for coming on and being our guest.
Thank you guys.
It's been a pleasure having you. And this has been the Weekly InSalt.
That's it. You did it.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Really, you guys. Kurt, wake up. We're ending the show.
Yeah.
We should just make that the joke.